So the next example I want to talk about is the shift to radial improvement. So if we take this cube and we press S and Z and we scale it up, we can rotate it sideways, right? Looking at it from a very weird angle, let's just begin drawing a box. We'll press A and that's our box, right? Let's select this, select our object, shift click Radial Array. Now we're able to drop this exactly where we need it without any sort of weird rotation occurring. Let's draw another box. This one's oriented on the front this time. Shift select both objects, shift click Radial Array. We see it uses the same settings as before. Let's draw another box. We'll press A, but during extrusion we'll press W so it's a wedge. We'll select both the shapes. Let's press Q and shift click, and we see that whenever we do that, under the shift radial, we now will give the object that you're intending to radial around the other object the same orientation and rotation as the object that you're dealing with, so that way both of them will radiate perfectly. So the next thing is we just want to draw a shape. We'll leave it as this, but let's just choose circle, then select box in order to reset, and let's just shift select both of them, shift click Radial Array. We're able to Radial Array that. Let's select this object, go under circle, we'll just draw a circle, and that will be our cylinder. Let's mirror that to the other side of this object's self. In fact, this object's kind of ugly. Let's mirror it across itself too. But we also want to make sure that the mirror modifier that's doing that is all the way at the top, so that way it propagates to all the sides, but maybe post boolean so that way both sides look exactly the same. So with this object, even though it has all this business going on, because it's based off of this object somewhat roughly, that means when I select both of these and I control click Radial Array, or actually when I shift click Radial Array, see how it goes haywire when I select the wrong option, we're able to radiate this object around this as well. So just showing the degree of improvement that's been had with Radial Array and what it was doing before. So hopefully I was able to show previously how just terrible it is to have your object just automatically rotated whenever you're trying to radial array it. So I believe that was a misinterpretation of a previous request, but I felt that the set origin adventure that we were going on was actually going to solve a lot of the origin related issues, and so Radial Array is one of the first visits on the tour of kind of re-origining hops to get things on track. So let's press Q, shift click Radial Array, and we see that we're able to radial array this quite easily. Because of sorting, we can just perform a boolean and that will propagate to every side. Actually, I don't know if that went to any side. Let's try that again. Which one's the real one? This one? We perform our cut, and now we see that went all the way around. So I'm not sure what happened there a moment ago. Let's press Alt-VE just to get a better looking viewport. And from here, we're just going to draw a shape based on this side. So we're not even drawing on the same side that we've been playing with. But I'm going to select this object, shift click Radial Array, and we see that this object too was able to radiate around the intended area the way that we intended. So I've just been doing this all day as like a sort of tool test to just make sure that this is damn perfect. And so hopefully everyone enjoys this latest iteration of Radial Array. So previously I had shown that if I were to take this cube and move it on the Y and press Ctrl A and apply to location and go under Cube Mesh Tools and use a Radial Array, it'll actually start from where the object's located, which is actually undesirable. So this is something that was resolved this version. So if we minimize this, if we were to drag this cube out on the Y, press Ctrl A and apply to location, but we were to go under Mesh Tools, Radial Array, we see that we're able to radial array using our object's origin kept exactly where we had it. And of course with movement we're able to adjust it if we're dealing with something linear, but just keep in mind that this was something that was resolved for this update. And to give some context as to what preserving the initial orientation origin means in terms of Radial Array now, is that if we were to just begin cutting on this box using static grid, I'm just going to cut out a corner, and from here actually take this in edit mode, just bevel these three edges, and then from here just jump off this center point, press period, and we'll just take this entire area off. We'll use set origin to specify our origin as being of this area, meaning that whenever we draw a box and we press I and we were to shift it to live, if we were to select this and then select this piece, we could actually go under set origin and shift click to take the origin of this mesh and give it to our main mesh. So basically it'll make anything in your selection share the origin with the last thing you have selected. And what this means is that now that we have the specific origin set, we go into Radial Array, roll the wheel a couple of times, and now we are quickly able to just set up this easy radial array. And so we could take this even a step further. We can just draw a circle, extrude it down, shift to live, select both of these surfaces. Instead of going inside of set origin, we can just shift click set origin in order to give the origin to the secondary object. And if we were to just click on radial array without even holding control, just like that, we're able to radiate this shape around this particular formation based on the particular origin that we have locked into place. So this is a kind of more practical example showing why we pursued such a route. I'm going to press Shift V and change this to local. See what I'm able to get with my cutter that way. Shift this to live, Alt X, mirrored across itself. We could take this and select this object and just shift click set origin to just share the same origin as this object. We can't go back in time to grab this. We could, but I would just prefer not to. And from here, we just click on Radial Array and we see that it uses the same settings as before. And just like that, we're able to radiate these objects around, which is something we just were not able to do in the previous version. In fact, to try that, I'm going to copy these objects to clipboard and we'll jump into previous version of Blender, delete the object, paste everything. Let's just control click manage to just get rid of everything that isn't a, there we go, control click manage in order to evict everything. And let's try it in the previous version. So we're just going to cut a simple circle and we'll select both of these objects and let's just shift click radial array. And we see that we're able to radial array around this particular object because our origin is actually flat with the particular plane that we're radiating around. But let's try it in the context that we were just demonstrating. So now this one's definitely not oriented to this particular plane. If we go into radial array and we shift click it, we see that this object's just lost. We can come out and look at it and we see that the object's been retransformed in order to attempt to fit this particular radial array, but that isn't the outcome that we were going after.